Okay. So in the morning we were doing some programs, some small introductory concepts of Python programming. So let me just actually repeat, because I was not able to record at that moment. So let me just, I will start from the while loop. Then we can go ahead. So okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Sanjay sir. I think. Hello.
Sanjay ma'am.
Hanji, sir. I think it's my class now. It's 4:20. I have a buggy lab.
No, no. In my in the timetable, it is my lab. I have the yes, it is my lab. We see the 8 from 3:30. Actually, from 4:20 it was. Hello.
Hello, Hanji sir.
आपने वो चेक की है शीट?
हाँ जी सर, मैंने लाइसेंस फाइल में से ही उठाया है।
हाँ, लाइसेंस फाइल में आप चेक करोगे ना तो ट्यूसडे का है आज।
हाँ जी सर, चलो आई एम अगेन चेकिंग।
हाँ, प्लीज चेक।
हाँ जी सर, ओके
ओके। Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, let us start from the change statement for loop. Okay, let's start from the list, right? So we can create lists in Python. So how to create a list? My list in this square brackets, you will have to put whatever the list you want to create. For example, let me create one list. Let's say L1. We can have 1, 3, 5, 7. Like this, you can create a list. And then you can display the list also. So this is our list created. For example, I created the list using L1. Okay, I created the list using L1 as the variable. So if I type L1 here, I can know the type of this variable also. This is L1, right? So this is a list. That's how you can create lists in the Python. Okay, you can also create list using mixed data type also. For example, L2 is the list created. You can have a string here. You can have the integer, then Boolean Boolean type of element or data also, and then you can have the float type of data also. Then that means that's the advantage of creating lists in Python, that you can have a mixed data type of lists too. Okay, then let me change the system is actually good. Is there. Okay, creating a list and using. All right, so this is the list created. You can have a list of lists also. For example, if I create L3 here, my list is a list created, and then I can have how this string as the element of the list, and 55 is some integer. Then I can have the a list in a list also. So my list is a list already. So my list is a part of L3 also. So it will be a list. So if you run this, oh, sorry, I did not actually run the full code. Okay, and then L3. Sorry, 3. Yeah, so this is the list of lists created, right? So let's say X is another list, one containing 7 elements. Then the elements will be displayed. I can have I can use the range function also here. So range function is from 0 to 8, but 8 is not inclusive. So this is a list of with Y. Right. So I can also create a list with range function. So what is this function telling me? That the first argument, first part of the argument of this range function is from 100 to 111. So that means the elements will go from 100 to 111, and with a gap of 2, with a step size of 2. So that means if I create this list, then if I display Y2, then it will be 100, 102, 104, 106, 108, and so on. Right. So I can also I can also look for a particular element in the list. So this 100 will be 0. It will start from 0, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So if I want to see the third element in this list, Y, excuse me, third element in this list, Y2. So I can have Y2 square bracket, in the square bracket I can put 3. So I will get 106 as the element. Or I can even go for element number. So it is 108. So that's how you can find the elements also. And so if you want to go for Y24, this will be in this list, it is 108, right? Actually, I'm running in the same already created Python list, so no problem, that does not matter. Important thing here to remember is that just okay, 3. I can change the element also. For example, in Y2 list, I want to put a new element Y24 equal to 1000. So if I run this, this element will be replaced. Important thing to remember is that the indexing. Indexing means the first element is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I can have a negative indexation also. I mean, this will be my -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6. If I want to go for Y2 -1, it will start from here. So this is known as negative indexation. That's how the positive indexation will be. This will be 0, 1, 2, 100 will be at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if I want to use the negative indexation, it will be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6. All right. For example, if I want to have, let's say, -2, then it will be 1000. It will start from the 110, and it will go towards the left. All right. Then let us do some. Okay. So if I say Y2, I'm trying to address the elements of the list. So colon. So it will, this column will give, this column refers to all the elements. So Y2 colon means the complete list. And then Y2, let's say I want to have, sorry, I want to have 2 colon 5. So it will give me 104, it will start from, so this 100 is at 0, 1 and 2, so it 104 will be displayed, 106 will be displayed, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will go. Important thing to remember is that whenever you are trying to do the indexation, whenever you are trying to put a slice in the list, then 2:5 means it will, last element will not be displayed. That means 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. It will, up to fourth element it will display, the fifth element it will not display. Okay. Y2, 2:, let's say 4. So it will be 0, 1, 2. So 104 will come and 106 will come. The fourth element will not be displayed. All right. Then let us say Y2, 2:, minus. So 2:-1. So what I have done, I have tried to do is I have tried to starting from 2. So I am putting a negative index here. So this negative index is basically 110. So this will not be included, but it will go up to 1000. So this is how you can slice the list also, and you can do the with this you can understand the positive indexation and negative indexation in a list. After that, we can about, okay, then let's do some more slicing. All right, let's say this is a list which contains these elements A, B, C, D, E, F, G up to J. So let's, if you run this list, right, then, and if you want to display the letters, so this list will be displayed. If you want to go to the second element, if I say letters 2:, letters 2:, means starting from 2 all the rest of the elements. Starting from 2 means 0, 1 and 2. It will start, it will start from 0 and it will display all the elements. Letters colon means the complete list. Letters :7, that means starting from the index 0 up to 6. It will go up to 6 because the last element is not included. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Up to 6 it will display, and the seventh element it will not display. So this is letter 2:7, starting from 2 to 6 it will display. Okay, this is now letters -8:7. So what is -8? -8, as I told you, this J is, if you look for the negative indexation, J is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, and this is this is -8. So that means the starting is from -8, which is C, and it will go up to the sixth element, G. So that's how you can slice the list. And important thing to explain here is about the positive indexation and negative indexation. -8 is C only, and it will go up to -3. -3 means 1, -1, -2, -3, right? Actually, it will go up to -2 only. The last element is not included, so it will not display -3 element, but it will display up to -2. Starting from -8 up to -2, it will display C, D, E, F, G. All right. Next is 2:9:2. So that means we have to go from 2 to element 8, index 8, with a gap of with a step size of 2. So it will skip C, it will skip D. Sorry, it will skip D. It will start from C, it will skip D, then E it will display, G it will display, and I it will display. Then this next slice is that column 3, that means complete list with a step size of 3. The first element will be displayed 1, 0, 1, 2, right? Then D will come, then E, F will be skipped, G will come, and so on. So the last colon, the last element in this indexation is the step size, correct? So that's how you can create lists in Python, and you can also, the way you want to address the elements or some of the elements, or you can, slice the list and so on. Okay, let's now go further with the programming. Let's see what can be. Okay, next we will talk about the tuples in Python. I will share all these notebooks, but these are very simple concepts. You can refer to any book, you will be able to understand this. So let's talk about the tuples. Okay, tuples, and some of the common functions will also do. Now, what is a tuple? Now, a tuple means it is immutable list. What do you mean by immutable list? So earlier we were creating the list using square brackets, but here now we will tuples are created using the simple brackets, right? Round brackets. You in tuples, once you declare a tuple, you can't change the value. That is immutable. So that's why these are immutable lists. You can't change the value. Sometimes you have to, what happens is, sometimes you have to pass objects or lists, right? And you want to make sure when you pass the list, then you want to be sure that when the list is passed to some function or to some other program body, then those elements should not be changed. So therefore you create tuples instead of lists. When you pass the list, when you pass the tuple, then the elements will not be changed. So that's the advantage of using tuples as immutable lists, right? So the way to create a tuple is to put simple brackets, right? It will create it's a list, but it's an immutable list. So T1, this is the this is the list created. You can address the elements in the same way. T1, just actually. All right. So T1, if you want to see the 0th element, you can get it. Then this is a range function, right? Range, some of the function. So this is what needs to be talked about. What is a tuple? So this is my tuple. I will take one example also of a real-time database, and then we will understand. We will talk more about the tuples and other things also. Some of the common functions used in Python are range is one function. Then we can use the list function, right? Range is from, let's say, 20 to 31. It will go up to 20, from 20 to 30. The last element is not included. You can list the elements. So let's say you are creating this list, which is my list one, right? So the elements of this list are from 20 to 30. So if you print this list, you will be able to get this. You can also use a function which is len. Len will give you the length of the list, then depending on the number of elements in the list. So my list one is one list created. So if you want to if you want to know the number of elements in this my list one, so you can have. I'm just, because I have already created this, so I'm not typing here, but you can in your own laptops you can practice. Once I will send you the these Python notebooks. You can also then practice at your home also, either from the book or whatever the way you want to. So type will give you the type of the list, type of the variable. Here the object is my list one, which is a list. So when you want to know what type of the object it is, it will be a list, right? You can find out the max of this list, max or maximum value from this list. You can find out the minimum value, right? So these common functions you can use in a list. So that's why my title of this notebook is the tuples. Tuples, of course, is to be created using simple brackets. The important thing to remember is that this is an immutable list, right? So the values cannot be changed like that. So then we have, we can start with arrays, right? So let's see how we can do about the arrays in Python, how to create the arrays. Arrays in Python. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So this is a list created, right? This is some list created. I can side by side, I can create another list also. Let's say L1. Three. So let me run. So L is this list. If I want to, let us say see L1, so I will be, so this is my L1 list created. Now, how to create the arrays in the in Python. So first of all, you will import NumPy, which is a package in Python, right? If you want to deal with numbers, if you want to deal with some I mean numbers and calculations. So this is a very this is a very important package actually. So we can import NumPy as NP. Now how to create an array. So L is the list. So NP dot array. So let me create. If you do, so this will create an array. Let me create an array for the second list which I have created. So NP is the NumPy package dot array, right? So let me press tab here. So you can see these. This is how using the NumPy you can create. You can use the lot of functionality of the package to create the arrays, right? There will be more you can do with NumPy also using NP dot, and if you press tab, you will be the complete listing of the functionality will appear. So what I wanted to do was that I have created L1 as the list. So I want to generate an array out of that L1. So this is an array created. L1 will now be an array, right? What is the difference between the array and the list? A list in Python can have mixed data types, right? Whereas when you create an array from the list, it cannot have mixed data. It will have only one type of data type. For example, let us say that a so this is an array created. This is an array created, but I have, for example, let me put. So this was the C. I created a list which is L1, right? And then I created the array from list L1. Then I can put this array equal to C. This is NP dot array L1, sorry, L1, right? So my it will create C as the array, right? So if I want to, let me put here, let's add a cell here actually. So if I want to see the elements, so this is the array. C is an array. So L1 was a list. So what I have done is I have created C as an array using this NP numpy package dot array, this function. All right. And let us say that this is another array created, b equal to, let me create this b, let me create another array. This is equal to, so this is np dot array, then L2 is the list, so let me take L1 comma L2 also, let me take, then 64 78, let's say false, just to differentiate, and one more element, let's say for 55. Sorry. Okay. Okay, let me just take these values straight away. Okay. All right. So this is array D created, right? Now, if you want to see, let me add a cell here again. So if you want to see the elements of D, you will see that the so this is list. This one is list, right? 23. Okay. List 64, 78 for, and actually this is the if you want to have a data type, what I wanted to have was that B is the, so let's look at this one. This is the array created. What it will do is that this is the let me put it like this. Let me just take it this one. Copy, put it here. All right. So let's see. Okay. So if I was trying to explain the difference between the list and the array. Now, in a list, you can have mixed data types, but whereas when you create an array, for example, this is 1263, this is L2, right? This is 63, then this is 3, no list is there, but 12, 63, 3, and this is another type of data, which is true, which is a string data type. Now, what it will do is that when it will create an array, it will make all the elements as strings. So this is the data type. Data type is U11. So that means it will create, array will not have mixed data types. That's the important point that I want to mention. List can have the mixed data types also. Then L is the, okay, L is the list. So you can use functions also. A lot of functions you can, for example, if I want to say L dot, if you press tab, you will see that a lot of functions are also available. For example, I use the function pop. Pop, what it will do, pop, it will, so if I enter this, if you see in the list, -1, 2, 3, 4 is the last element of the list. So once I have said L dot pop, it is -1, 2, 3, 4 will be popped out. Now, if I will, display the list, -1, 2, 3, 4 will not be there. Correct? I can have the mean of the array. So A is an array here. So if I say A dot, if I press tab, then you see that there are a lot of functions you can do with these array. For example, if I want to calculate mean, right, I can calculate the mean also. So this is my mean. What is array A? Array A is okay, this is array. This was the list created np dot array L. So this was my list, right? This is array. So if I want to get the mean, so this will be my mean, right? That's how you can create an array using the from the list np dot array. Then you can, as we were slicing the lists also, you can slice the arrays also. So this is how you can get the second element A2. So A2 colon. A2 colon means starting from 2, all the rest of the elements. So this is array. Let's display the array here. Okay, it's here. Let me add cell. So this is, let's display array A. So these are the elements of the array. And if I want to get, let's say, 3 colon, then it will give me elements starting from 3 to starting from 3, all the rest of the elements. So this is my element 0, 1, 2, and 3, and this is starting from 3 colon, it will give me these elements. 2 colon, it will start from 2. The square brackets include the indices from 2 to 4. I mean, you can do in the same way as you were doing the list, as you were doing the slicing in the list, you can do the slicing in for the arrays also. Right. So that's how you can create, you can make an array from the now. Okay, let's see what is there. So B colon, so B is an array. Let's add a cell here and see what B was. So B is an array, right? If I say B colon, it will display all the elements. B colon 1, 1, 1. So if I say B colon, putting only a colon here, what it will do is that it will replace all the elements of array B with 1, 1, 1. So if you now display B, all the elements are 1, 1, 1. So B equal to A2 colon 4. So what I have done is I have put B equal to A2 colon 4. That means so B equal to A. So B array is actually array A starting from 2 to 3. 3 elements of A are taken for B. Right. Now, what I have done is that B colon, I have replaced all the elements of B with, this is my B equal to A, 2 colon 4. That means 2 elements will be there. Element number 2 and element number 3 will come here, which will form array B. Then I replace all the elements of B with 1, 1, 1. So if I display B, I will get, this is my this is my original. I did not actually run this. Let me run this first. Right. So if I now display B, B will be 546 and 215. I replace all the elements of, let me put here 5. Right. I now display. So 3 elements are there of B, which are taken from array A. Then I replace all the elements of B with 1, 1, 1. And if I now display B, B will be all ones, right? And if I now, put A, you will see that the elements of A, once I am taking B here, I am changing B contents of B only. But you see here the contents of A are also changed. The array A was different, but I put it equal to B. So B's contents I have changed to 111. All the contents of B array which were there as at the place of A, all those contents are changed in A also. Right. So how can I avoid this? I can create a copy of A first and then I can do. So how to create a copy of array A? Use C as another matrix, another array, and create a copy of that. Right. Then you can do whatever you want to do with that particular array. Right. Okay. So this is important thing is that the difference between list and array is that you cannot have mixed data types in array, but in list you can have mixed data types. You can how to create an array from a list using the np.array and put the list as an argument. You can create right, and then you can slice the elements of the array. You can do various other operations. I mean, very small operation, very small manipulations you can do with the array. Then now let us look at how to go for the matrices at the same time. Okay, before I actually wanted to introduce the data set, but anyway, let's talk about the matrices. No problem. Okay, let's talk about the matrices, how to create matrix in Python. So you import NumPy, right? You np.arange. You create a kind of list using this arange function. Arange is from 0 to 20. So that means it will give me the values from 0 to 19, right? And if you, so my data is a list created using NumPy np.arange function, arange function of the NumPy. So it will, if you print my data, then it will give me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the elements created. This is a list created basically, right? Now, how to, how to create a matrix from here? How to create a matrix, right? Now, the first way, the function to create a matrix is reshape, right? np.reshape. So the function to, let me put it like this, np.reshape is the function. This is how you can create the matrix. Now what you have to supply the arguments here. The arguments are, the first star will be, this is data, right? Any kind of data. For example, in this line, I'm using my data, which is a list created, and I have to give data here. The second argument of this reshape function will be dimensions of the matrix. So second star is basically the dimensions of the matrix that I want to create. For example, here, what is my data? My data is this list, my data. And what is the data I'm supplying to create the matrix? Is this my data as a list, 5,4, because 20 elements are there in this list. So that means I can create a matrix of 5 rows and 4 columns. So that means I will have to supply the dimensions here. And this third argument is basically C. What is the C? It is actually C type, as was happening in C language. So exactly the matrix will be formed like this C language. There is one more option which is F. So that will be Fortran type, right? C version. So how what it says is basically, so what are the elements? 0, 1, 2, 3. So elements will go into the matrix row by row. If I put C here, so the elements matrix will get populated row by row. So that means 0, 1, 2, 3 will come first, right? Then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. So this is how you can create a matrix using your. So once you run this code, you will be able to generate this matrix, right? So I can equate this matrix also to, let's say, matr1 np.reshape. This is how I can put it in. So if I display, let me put this cell here. If I, let us say this is, I want to display this matrix matr1, so you can display the elements of the matrix, right? The important thing here is to know that the matrix will be created using the reshape function. It will have three arguments to be supplied. One is the data, the second is the dimensions of the matrix, and the third is the C type, I mean, how the elements need to be populated in the matrix, right? So let us now I can address any of the I can locate any of the elements also. For example, if I want to locate this 9, how I will be able to locate 9? It is 2, 1. So it is 9. So this is the second row. It will start from 0, 1, 2, and this is 0 and 1. So second row and the first column. So it will be 9. Let's say I want to address 14. It is the third row and second column, right? So it will give me 14. So let us now create the same using the same data, which is from 0 to 20, right? It goes from 0 to 19 because 20 will not be included. Earlier, I created the matrix using the order as C, which is C version. That means the elements will be populated in the matrix row by row. But if I put F here, which is actually Fortran, it is taking the word. It is taking the letter from the Fortran version, right? So if you do it like this, then if you create the matrix using this, it will create matr2 as the matrix, but the elements, you see the difference here. Here the elements were filling the matrix row by row. Here it will be column by column. I mean, it is row by row. Yes, this is column by column. It will be the first column will be filled first, and so on. Right. In the same way, you can address the elements of this matrix, right? By default, it will take the C version. That means the row by row filling, right? So let's now see. Let's say there are 3 lists I have created. You can also create a matrix like this. 3 lists are created, right? R1. So one way to create a matrix is reshape. The other is np.array. So you have 3 lists, right? R1, R2, R3, or let me create one more, R4 equal to, let's say 33, 45, 67 as the, so 4 lists are created. I want to put these in a matrix. How can I put? np.array r1, I mean these list by list row, these lists will be put row by row. So I want to put r4 also. So I can, so this is how the matrix will be created, right? And using np.array, and I can use a print function also. So print np.array r3, and I can use r4 also. So that will display the list. I mean, that's how the matrices will be created using the using the reshape function and np.array. Reshape is basically, I have already explained how to create a matrix using reshape, and then from the lists, how you can create an array. So what we have discussed till now is that we know how to create a list, we know how to slice the list, we know what is an array, and we can also create the matrices. All right. After this, actually, what I want to do is that I want to just a minute. Okay. Let me see. All right. So let us take a real-time example, actually, of a data set. This data set is, I will be using this data set quite for, I mean, some things to be explained. Now, this data set is actually, if you see this data, I have directly imported the data set into the Jupyter file because it's a file, it's a Python code only. Now, what is this data set basically? This is about the basketball players, right? 10 basketball players are there. Kobe Bryant, unfortunately, actually he died in the last year, but anyway, this is an old data I'm using here. Kobe Bryant, Joe Johnson, LeBron James, Anthony, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Derrick Rose, and Dwayne, right? So these 10 players are there. This database is actually, you can put it in the form of a data, in the form of a table also, but from the table, the database is created as a Python program. So let me explain how the program is there. So you are importing NumPy here. So seasons, a list is created of seasons. Seasons go from 2005 to 2014. That means 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this basically data set is the data set for these 10 players for these seasons, right? SDict and PDict, I will come to that. These are actually the dictionaries created. I will come to that. I have not talked about the dictionaries at present, but we will talk about the dictionaries also. So seasons is a list of seasons that we will talk about. Players is another list of players, 10 players, Kobe Bryant, Joe Johnson, LeBron James, and so on. So two lists are there in this data set. One is seasons and the other is players, right? This is another list, of salaries, right? Particularly for Kobe Bryant, this is the salary for all the seasons that these many things he has earned. Joe Johnson salary, this is another list corresponding to the salary earned by Joe Johnson. So that means there will be 10 lists for these salaries, right? Two lists are there. One is seasons, one is players. The next 10 lists are there, which are basically the salaries of these 10 players. Now, using these lists, you can create an array. Salary is an array. How it is created? np.array. The same command that I was talking. How the array is created from the lists. Just now I have explained. You put the name of the list the first list, second list, third list, fourth list, and 10. So 10 lists, you put the names and you use the command np.array. So that will create a salary matrix, right? In the same way, there are lists of games these 10 basketball players have played in the respective seasons. These are lists. I can create a games matrix using np.array again. How many minutes they played, right? Again, there are 10 lists. I can create a matrix minutes played using np.array. Field goals. So field goals is another set of 10 lists. I can create a matrix from here, which is field goals equal to np.array. Field goal attempts. Again, a list, 10 lists are there. I can create a matrix, field goal attempts. Points, I can, the same, the procedure remains the same. Points is another matrix created. Right. Now, if you run this code, let me run this code, and uh, let's say you can, various matrices were created. Let me show you one matrix. Let's say points matrix. So it will give me the points. Let me, if we want to do with games, so let's say it will, this will give me games. This will display basically the games matrix. Then let us say field goal attempts. Field goal attempts. So this is another matrix, right? So these matrices are created using the lists in this data set. So this data set we will use actually. Um, if Abhay is there, Abhay,
Yes, sir.
can you? I want to actually send this data set to you, so that you can distribute to, because I will use this data set to explain dictionaries also, and we will make some graphics also using this data set only. So can you give me your email ID so that
Yes, sir. I'll put it in the chat.
you put it in the chat so that I can have, I will send you this data set. You can practice it, right? And we will use this part also. I think we can stop here also, here only. Everybody has, are you people working on Python earlier also, or it's just a start? Somebody can, Abhay?
Most of us have started this semester only.
Okay, no problem. So that means what I wanted to say was that you need to install Python through, maybe you can install it through Anaconda. So once you install it through Anaconda, you will be installing most of the packages, right? So we will be using the Jupyter environment and the Spider environment, and maybe we'll see others also. So you install it, and you have a book. There are so many books available on internet also. One book is there in your syllabus as a reference. You can use that book also. I can also send you one book. So you just practice, um, start practicing, right? If you can, I can take up one more uh, um, Python notebook where, okay, let me take this one, dictionaries. Okay. Okay, before I discuss the dictionary from the data set, let me explain what are dictionaries, right? We can, in Python, you can create dictionaries, right? I will explain the use of dictionaries in this data set afterwards, but how to create the dictionary, right? Uh, how the dictionaries are created. So these values are there: value 1, value 2, and value 3. Actually, we are interested in these values, right? Value 1, value 2, and value 3. Now, with these values, we will attach a key value pair. Basically, a dictionary will have key value pair as the elements. So K1 is the key for value 1, K2 is the key for value 2, and K3 is the key for value 3, val 3, right? Um, let me create one more. Let's say dictionary, dict, use any name, 34. Let's say how to create the dictionary, you will have to use the curly brackets. So let's say the first key is A1, right, colon, A1 colon, let's say value, some value B1, right? Then A2, no, there can be some A1, and this has to be, and this A, let's say this is A2, all right, colon B2. So I have created this dictionary D34. So let me put a cell here. So dict 34. So this is the dictionary create. This is how you can create a dictionary. How to create a dictionary? You will have to use key and value. We are interested in values, but what we will do is that in programming, sometimes it happens that we do not know, from the value, we will not be able to identify. For example, in this data set, Kobe Bryant is always placed on row 0, right? Joe Johnson is always placed on row 1. LeBron James is always on row 2, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3 actually are the values of these players, but it is very difficult to all the time remember which row these players are, right? So to get rid of this small problem, in Python, you have the concept of dictionary where the value will be attached to a key, right? For example, in this data set, in this, so if you see here, the player, let's talk about the players. So players is a list, right? And we have created a players dictionary, pdict. How it is created? 0 is the value, and this 0 is basically a key is attached to it. The key is Kobe Bryant. Now, if when I will when now I will say Kobe Bryant, it actually will refer to row 0. Value 1 is attached with a key Joe Johnson, and so on. So this is the players list, right? And from the players list, we have created a dictionary with key value pair in the same. So let's come to this example. A value is there and a key is attached to that, right? For example, this dict1, if you will see this dict1 has key value pairs are there. So if I try to run this dict1, I will get key K1. This is an object created, which is a dictionary. So I can know the value by putting, for example, if I put dict1 K2, sorry, this will not give like dict1. This is value 1. From the key, I can get the value also, right? So that is the advantage of having a dictionary created, where you, if many times you cannot remember from the values you cannot identify what it is referring to, as is the case in our data set. We will talk about the data set maybe in the next class. So this is another dictionary created where dict2 is the dictionary. So Germany is the key. I have been there. This is the value. France is the key. 2 is the value. Spain is the key and true is the value, right? So this is the dictionary created. And for example, I want to, this is the key supplied for dictionary to France, the value is 2. Dictionary dict2, the key is Germany, and if you run this, it will give me, I have been there. So this is the value. Now in our database, sdict is the key. Actually, in the data set that I am talking about, 2 dictionaries are created. 2 lists are there. One is seasons list. So a dictionary is created for seasons. Another list is there of players, and players dictionary is also created. 2 dictionaries we will use in this data set. One is the seasons dictionary and the other is the players dictionary, using these 2 lists as seasons and players. Okay, so this data set actually you can find out any element from the games matrix. Like this, you can. We will talk about this data set maybe in a maybe a little later, right? And we will see how we can use this data set to have insights about these players, and we will try to make graphs from this data set, and how you can use the programming to analyze the data set for these players, that how they are performing, which player is more accurate. We will try from this data slide, like games, minutes played, then field goal attempts, and points. So from this we can have insights into the players' performance also. We will see that. We will try to explore this data set to start with for this Python programming class. All right. Okay. It is Abhay Goel. Actually write this. Just give me a minute, please. A Goel 10_BE at thopper.edu. All right. And your phone number is 99288 29933. All right. Thank you very much. I will send the data set to you. You please send the data to all the students if possible, group 4, 5, 6. If not, at least to this lab group. Okay. So if you have any questions, please ask. Please.
सर ये पाइचाम और VS कोड डाउनलोड करने की जरूरत है हमें?
नहीं वो अभी जरूरत नहीं. देखो, what we have decided is that because there are many environments where you can run Python programs. The point is that from our teaching point of view, we will do everything on this Anaconda installed Python, Jupyter and Spider. If you want to run it on PyCharm or other things or Kaggle or wherever you want to, so that is your choice. I will not stop you to work upon things, various things. Okay.
Okay.
No problem from our side, but one thing you make sure that in the exam you will get programming questions in the exam also. You will definitely get some numericals. Some algorithms will require numericals also, but in the exam the programming part will also come. Programming part means of this Python program, normal programs and the algorithm. All the algorithms you will have to make programs, and you can find questions in the exam also of program. Any other question you want to ask? We want to make this course programming intensive as far as possible, right? Any questions if you have, please ask. Or otherwise, I will close this class, though the time is 5:30 only till now, but I will close from next time onwards. This class will be at 3:30 instead of 4:20. So please update your timetable. I will send, Abhay, I will send this data set, and I will try to send the Python notebooks which I have created to you. You can, if you want to do, you can do. You can practice. Thank you for joining. Thank you.